Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a story time video for you guys because I've gotten a lot of requests to do this, but I never really knew like what to do a story time video about. But I was actually telling my friend this story the other day, and when I was telling her, it hit me. I was like, oh my god, that would be a really good story time video. So it's basically about the scariest thing that happened to me throughout my 4 years of college, even 5 years now as a master's student. I've never had anything this scary happen to me at school. So basically, to give you guys a little bit of a backstory, there was this kid that was in one of my classes. This was my junior year, I think, or maybe my sophomore year of college, but there was this kid that was in one of my classes, and he was always like a little bit off. Like, he was just a little strange, a little weird. Like, sometimes he would say weird stuff during class. One day at class, he like lashed out on the teacher. Like, he was just like a little weird, but I mean, we're all a little bit weird, so I never really thought much of it. I was always nice to him because just because somebody's different doesn't mean you have to be like, you know, bitch to them or whatever. But I was like always nice. I would always say like, oh, hi, how are you? I don't even remember what his name was, but yeah, he was just always a little bit off. But one day I went to class, and as soon as I got into like, as I walked into the classroom, I could kind of tell like something was like weird because my class was like pretty chatty. There wasn't that many of us in the class. There was like maybe 30 of us or so. So we used to all like talk and stuff before the teacher would get there. So like, it was just really weird because as soon as I got into the classroom, it was dead silent. Like, nobody was talking. It was really weird. Everyone was like looking straight forward, but like the teacher wasn't even there yet. So I was kind of just like, this is so weird, but whatever. I sat down where I normally do, which actually happened to be like right next to this kid. I used to always sit, like, there was like rows of desks, and I used to always sit in the row like next to him, but I was like one seat behind him, so I could kind of see like the back of him. But Steven was actually in this class too with me, and he was already in the classroom because I was coming from a different class, so he was already there when I got there. So I was like, hey, like, and he was just kind of like, hey, like, just like kind of like quiet, and I was just like, okay, like what is going on? So I texted him and I was like, did something like happen? Like, what's going on? Why is everyone so quiet? And he was like, that kid over there was like making these like loud grunting noises like right before you got here. And I was like, oh, like I guess that's why everyone's being really quiet. And then I like looked at him, and because I actually hadn't said hi to him that day when I walked in because like everybody else was like really quiet, so I was like kind of being quiet, and he also like wasn't really looking at me, so I like wasn't gonna be like, oh hey, you know, getting all in his face or whatever. And then I looked at like the back of him, and he had like sweat drenching down the back of him, and he was wearing like a button-down shirt. So like he was wearing like a long sleeved button-down shirt, but it was like probably like at least 70 degrees outside. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's just really hot, even though it's not that hot in here. Like, he was literally like dripping sweat, and it was all down the back of his shirt, and you could see like the sweat stains and stuff. And I was like, okay, this is like really weird. And then Steven said like he was grunting or whatever, and then he started the grunting again. So this is now the first time that I'm actually hearing it when I'm in there. And he was like grunting like pretty loud, and it was just like really weird. And then he went into his backpack and he like grabbed out this book, and then he was like writing stuff in the book, like with this marker, like on top of the letters, like the pages in the book. And so I was kind of just like, what is this kid doing? Like, it was just very strange. And then he started taking, he had like 2 pencils, and he was like going like this, like, I'll use lip glosses to say, but he was like going like this with the pencils, like as if he was kind of like trying to like sharpen the pencils or something, like with each other. Like, he kept going like this with the pencils, and I'm like, oh my god, like what is this kid doing? Like, after he was just like writing in marker like these big letters, I couldn't see what he was writing though, like all over this book that he had, and I'm just like, what is going on? So he's like still kind of grunting, he's still sweating profusely, and now he's like huffing and puffing. He's like really loud, and I'm just like, oh my god, like literally what is going on? And he had like an iced tea or something, and he was like chugging the iced tea. It was just really weird. I just got like one of those gut feelings, like what the hell is going on here? Like, what is this kid doing? Like, it was just very strange. Then he gets up, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, what the hell is going on? Because I'm literally right next to him, like he's right here, I'm right behind him. He gets up, he takes his shirt off. Underneath, he has a white plain t-shirt on that had writing on it, like as if he had written it himself with like marker or something, but I couldn't read what it said on it. And I was just like, hell no. Like, I didn't know what it said. I remember it was red marker. I couldn't read what it said on it, but I could see that he had written something on the white shirt himself. And I was just like, hell no. I need to get out of here. Like, I just got this gut feeling. My gut literally dropped in my stomach, and I was like, no. I need to get out of here. I don't know what the hell is wrong with this kid or what he's going to be doing, but I'm not going to be involved in this. So I got up, I grabbed all my stuff, like literally immediately got up and left the room. And right after I did that, like Steven the whole time, I actually was texting him like throughout all of this and was like, okay, like what is he doing? Like, oh my god, like I think we should leave, like blah blah. And Steven's like a very calm person. Like, he doesn't really get like excited or crazy about like anything. And he's like, Kelly, like literally stop. Like, the kid's just weird. Like, it's gonna be okay. And then he was like grunting louder, and I'm just like, Steven, like, no, like, we need to get the hell out of here. And so I just got up, regardless of if Steven was even gonna leave with me, and he did end up getting up like right behind me, and we both left. And then, so we're standing out in the hallway, and at this point, like, I'm outside, but I was like, okay, like, I really need to get out of here. Like, do you think that I should call like the teacher or something? Like, I didn't have her number or anything like that, but I was like, should I like call somebody, like the dean or something, like to be like, okay, look, this kid is like literally about to have a freak out in this classroom. I didn't want like anything to happen to anybody. Not that he would have ever hurt anybody, like, I don't know that, but I didn't want anything to happen. So I'm like standing in the hallway outside of the classroom at this point, and then like literally like 5 other people from the classroom came out right after, and this one girl was actually crying. She was like, oh my god, as soon as I saw you get up, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, it's not just me who feels this way, like I have to leave. She was like, I don't know what's going on with him or whatever. And I was like, yeah, like I don't know, like what do you think we should do? And right at this point, the teacher actually started to come into the building. So we basically were explaining to her what was happening, and while we were explaining to her what was happening, this other girl who was in the classroom and this like 2 other guys got up, and they were in the hallway, and they were like, yo, he's like writing stuff all over the board now, like verses of something, like if it was music or like from like a religious book or something, like we don't really know. They were like, he's like writing stuff all over the board, he's grunting really loud, like he has writing on his shirt, like all this stuff. And I guess someone had said on the back of his shirt too, he had like a swastika or something, like I don't know because I didn't see it, but that's what somebody had said. And so the teacher is like, my teacher was like really sweet. She was like really smart, like this little lady, like super, super smart, but like kind of socially weird. And she was like she was literally like almost hyperventilating, like freaking out about it. And she was like, okay, like we need to get everybody out of the classroom. Like she was like, nobody else go in the classroom. Like I'm gonna go get the rest of the students out of the classroom. And she actually ended up calling the police department at my school, and they ended up coming. And it was just literally the scariest experience of my life, because I, again, like I said, don't know if he would have ever like hurt someone, if that was like his intention. But at the time, this was right after there was like a school shooting. I forget where it was, but there was a school shooting like not that far before this had happened. And again, this was a couple years ago, but I was just like, oh my gosh, like it might have been the Sandy Hook, I don't remember, but there was like a school shooting that had happened, and I was just, all that was like fresh in my mind. I was just like, no, you know, this doesn't feel right. Like I need to get out of here. I need to like go to safety. Like he was definitely, something was going on with him. I don't know if he had some type of disorder or something, and he, you know, didn't take medication that day, or he might have been on drugs, which is a lot of other people were saying that, like he could have been like on drugs and kind of having like an adverse reaction or something. I have no idea. I didn't know him like that well to know any of that information, but I just knew in my gut, like, I need to get the hell out of here. So the police ended up coming. They ended up actually taking him out of the classroom, like in custody. Like it was really weird. Like we all actually ended up leaving like the hallway because we didn't want him to see us, because we didn't want him to think that like we called the police on him, because we didn't. The teacher did. Because I don't know if I would have like called the police. I honestly don't know what I would have done. But yeah, so they were like taking him out, but we were like down farther, so we saw it all like kind of from behind, and they had like handcuffs on him and stuff, and I was just like, oh my goodness gracious. So I don't really know what ever ended up happening. I do know that he did never come back to our class, so I don't really know, but he must have like said something suspicious or strange when he was in police custody, because they never let him come back. But it was really, really scary. Thankfully, nothing ended up happening because my teacher handled it really well. She got everybody out of there, called like the proper people, the police or whomever, to get him out of there. And it was just one of those things where I just knew in my gut, like, okay, this isn't right. Because Steven was literally trying to be like, Kelly, stop. Like, you're making a big deal out of something that's not a big deal. But I literally just knew. I was like, no, like, something is not right here. And as soon as I saw him get up and saw like he had like words written on his chest, I was just like, oh hell no, like this is not gonna do. So it was really, really scary. And thankfully, like I said, nothing bad ended up happening, but I had all of that like stuff in my mind from like school shootings, and all this crazy stuff happens all the time now. And it's really sad that you have to like think about that stuff, especially like in America. I just feel like every day it's something else that's happening on the news, and a lot of it has to do, like, happens on schools and like college campuses and stuff, and that's really scary. Like, you shouldn't have to think about that when getting an education, but you know, in the back of your head you kind of do. But yeah, that was definitely the scariest thing that ever happened to me. And I actually saw him like 2 years later, I think, because I think that happened my sophomore year, and I think it was my senior year, and I actually saw him on campus, and I kind of ducked and like kind of ran away. Like, I don't know, I just didn't really want to see him. I didn't know if he still thought like I was the one that called the police on him or anything like that, because I was the first one to leave the classroom. So I kind of ducked, but I mean, he did end up going to my school, I guess, continuing on, although he was never allowed to go back to my class. But yeah, it was really, really frightening. Definitely the scariest thing that happened to me throughout my 4 years, and kind of the one time where I really felt like I was like actually seriously in danger. But yeah, that is my story time. I don't know if you guys like these kind of videos. They're a little bit different. A lot of you had requested that I do story time type videos, so I can do more of these if you guys want. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye.